Or I didn't come up with a pet name yet.
Sniffles.
Sniffles. There we go.
A constantly sick cat.
Sniffles. Yeah. Oh, it's here.
Just always emaciated and sickly.
The eyes are always full of boogers. Fucking gross.
Eat fucking bug carcasses.
Cause for the causes. Bubbles. The Siamese
What do you think,
cat.
Bubbles?
Well, he's. What are we gonna do? He says they're good hoes.
Can't argue with that, Bubbles. All right. Okay.
Do you need one of us to take over? Like, we could...
Nah, it's all right. It's just a shit topic.
All right.
We're live, by the way.
All right, good. Fucking live and dying. Ladies and gentlemen.
We're here with an asthmatic Ashtray.
Yep. Why the hell am I not getting my notification? Being live. All
I
right.
spelled lottery.
Did I?
No, I did.
Oh.
Harness that Indian kid inside you and fix it.
Oh. Yeah, all right. All right. Ladies and gentlemen.
Sorry, my cat.
Tonight's episode of the Red Eye Report, we're going to talk about the lottery loser myth. In this episode, we're tackling some low-hanging fruit while Ashtray is fucking being a pussy.
Yeah, suck it up, bro. Be a man. Put some food to it. Get rid of that cold. Let's go.
Why be a man? There's no one here to hold me to it. And I don't give a shit about your opinion. So, the usual, we got our lucky lads with us here. We've got our Mega Balls Mystic, Scratch and Sniff Ticket Teddy, Shake Your Sack of the Day Oracle, and Mad Cow Me Raffle Ashtray.
Oops, gadoosh.
We've all managed to keep our millions and modesty with all our winnings because we've invested all of that into the SCC NFTS, also known as the Shaq's Chunky Comb NFT Syndicate, where all of our fortunes are being tended to by Mr. O'Neill and the General himself.
Nice. Gonna be huge.
That's right. I can see my NFTs growing right under the General's balls. And we're now going to sidestep over to our pause for the cause. This today goes out to Sniffles, the Siamese cat. Cat's got a perpetual sinus infection, green boogers in the eyes, and a bunch of dirty gunk in his ears.
I feel like
Sniffles.
every fucking humane society probably has a cat or multiple cats like that. Like, out of all the the animals that we sponsored, this is the one that universally you will find.
Oh yeah, and he'll spread it to your children.
I'm not a cat fan, so I really don't care about the cat thing.
The cat will crawl up into your child's bedroom at night and rub its eyeballs on their lips because that's
steal their breath.
Fucking Sniffles is good for the little shit. So he keeps going back. Someday he'll find his forever home. Maybe someone like me.
When he fucking dies.
Yeah, right. Give him the fucking COVID. All right. So, anyways, we had the recent Powerball jackpot that got up to, was it $2 billion, I believe?
Yeah.
$2.04 billion.
Oh. Did any of you all play?
No.
I did.
You did?
I played a couple of times.
What did you? Okay.
I spent, let's see, I played 3 times and I spent $10 each time. So $30 over the difference.
I spent more than you.
I spent $4, and that was only so that I could bitch about not winning.
Mm-hmm. Kind of like voting.
I played 3 times. Right. I spent $50 every time.
Damn.
$50 every time. Damn. That's not bad though. You got to play to win.
Right.
I won $12.
But as you often see during these times when the lotto gets fucking big, always these stories about, I think a recent one I saw statistic was 72% of all lottery winners go broke. And
what?
Yeah, it's just like,
yeah,
I heard say
all lottery winners. They're probably taking into account the fucking dude who wins $12 like Teddy
on a scratch off.
And now lives on a fucking.
Hey, look, I did a responsible thing with my fucking $12.
Yeah, right. Busting crack.
Well, I'm just saying, like they kind of got to narrow that down. Like, is it jackpot winners?
Not only that.
Yeah, and what's the duration too? They go broke by the end of their lives. Because if I win the fuck, I'm like, fuck it, man.
Absolutely.
I'm not taking it with me.
I'm spending
not taking it with me.
Well, and that's
just spending mine. See ya.
It's usually a bunch of fucking horse shit. That the these stats, which are trotted out, and on average, about 1 in 8 Americans play the lottery at least once a week. So those are your like regulars. But almost half of all Americans buy at least one ticket a year. So I think that would even include us fucking fair weather fans. Oh well, shit. The news is telling me how big it is. I might as well hiss in the wind like everyone else.
That's about it. When it hits the news, that's when I buy it.
Mm-hmm.
Like when I'm at work and I say, "Oh shit, it's up to fucking 200 million," I guess I'll get a ticket.
Right. I mean, yeah, the odds get higher and higher, but at the same time too, it's like if you look at each time the jackpot got bigger, I was still, I was spending $10. So like each time, even though the odds are larger, that $10 expenditure had a potential to be even more and more money.
Yeah.
So the thing is, though, there's a whole fucking, professor had nothing else better to do than to write all his books and research, named Jonathan D. Cohen, about the mostly in American lotteries. But
of course he's Jewish.
Yep.
Do other countries have a lottery? Is there? I mean, is there?
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, funny story. It's funny that you say this. We just ran a story tonight about a dude in China who won the equivalent of $30 million in whatever their fucking currency is. And he went to pick it up in a costume. It's like a fucking some bear costume.
Oh, really?
And the reason that he said is that he doesn't want his own family to know that it was him.
Oh, shit.
And he said, because I don't want my wife and son to get lazy and not work hard in the future.
Oh,
that's a very Chinese way of thinking.
I was gonna say it's a very Asian.
The most Chinese thing I've ever.
Yeah, a lot
heard.
of people who win these big jackpots, they do show up in a mask or something. So.
Yeah, I've seen.
Wisconsin, you have to
show yourself.
Have your name. Yeah, you have to be present.
Yeah, it varies by state, but there are some people who saw a photo during my research of some guy in the full fucking Scream mask.
Yeah.
But the thing is, every time these jackpots get big, you have motherfuckers who are like, oh yeah, be careful, like don't play the lottery. Whereas the old jokes is what has 6 balls and screws white trash? Powerball. The actual, it is totally
it's just a ploy, like in Trailer Park Boys. The most honest thing that anyone has ever said is in that show when Ray is putting money into the machines and he goes, Ray, the government just puts these here to get welfare checks back. That's what the lottery is.
Yep. Yeah, it totally is a way to get
fucking Ray with the sage wisdom.
Money back.
You're right. That's what I mean. Like,
yeah.
And it's not even like
that and piss jugs.
Yeah, that and piss jugs, man. Extension cords and piss jugs.
So the lottery goes back till pre-colonial days, but the back in colonial times, before we were even independent, the lottery and what's known as Powerball or Mega Millions are called lotto games, they actually their roots come from the 16th century Italy.
Damn.
Yeah. And
because Venice.
That's probably.
All the merchants.
But the way back in the colonial days, when we had lotteries that their main purpose was to raise funds for infrastructure projects, schools, sewers, basically help everyone in the colony chip in and try to pay for some shit. Now the reason these fucking myths have perpetuated, because in his research, going all the way back even to the 18th century, newspapers in the United States and in Europe were sharing these stories about people who hit the lottery, make it big, and then boom, they fucking blow all their money and they're dirt poor and they're sucking cock behind the,
like
whatever
they were before the lottery.
Yeah.
They had fun. Fuck it.
Whatever they called Denny's in colonial times.
Right.
Wow. But yeah, they had old fucking in 1765 in Paris, France. There's a story about a baker and his pregnant wife who were they won the lottery and then they were murdered by their employee.
Murdered.
And then 1883 in Newburyport, Massachusetts, there was another lottery winner story of a guy who took his entire jackpot and invested it in a shipping venture and went kaput.
And it sank.
Yep, fucking sank. Or they just sailed away and never came back. Yeah. I mean, I can't even imagine investing money in a shipping venture back in the day when it's like, oh, you could, yeah, I know, right? They're just waving from the shore. You see these little puffs of dollars going, like, fuck you. And like, imagine trying to, all you had was fucking hope and praying to God that ship came back. You had no way to check the GPS or to fucking look for their Instagram updates on how the fucking journey's going.
Oh, he's not answering my calls.
But these, these stories, though, they're all essentially rooted in what's a very common American thing where we have a long-standing national discomfort with the idea of gambling and the cultural beliefs that work and, work and merit go hand in hand to create wealth. And you got to work hard and the meritocracy. If you just
bullshit meritocracies.
Yep, exactly. That bullshit meritocracy. So whenever some cocksucker who's been giving out handies wins the lottery, everyone deep down inside is jealous and then thus rooting for him to fail.
Yeah, oh yeah. Schadenfreude, man. We want to see fucking people get hurt. Not physically, maybe all the time. In my case, yes.
Yeah, no. But it's like when there's an easy windfall of luck.
We want to see pain. Yeah.
We want to see that luck doesn't.
That's why we love fucking revenge videos.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Or like revenge movies, or like fucking just anything. Or like those videos are so popular on YouTube where they're like, fucking cocky fighter gets knocked out. Like, I love shit like that.
Right.
Like,
or the instant karma when some jackass sports car and ends up spinning it around and flies into a fucking Dairy Queen, kills 3 children. I don't know.
I don't know which one you're watching. I haven't seen that.
No one just wrecked the Corvette.
Right.
Well, I make up usually the details.
Do you think actually, like these social media influencer, do you think that any of that's ever been staged, like those car ones where like, oh my god, this guy with a fucking brand new Corvette just drove this, drove it into a light pole or something?
I'm sure some of them have been, yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, at some point, or
and the ones that aren't staged, people just fuck this shit up are pretty funny. Like the guy who's ghost walking his truck and it rolls over his leg.
I haven't seen that one. Or the guy, speaking of influencers, that Counter-Strike guy who like made millions selling skins way back in the like mid 2000s.
Oh yeah, I
he-
Yeah,
remember
that's
that.
I think some other topic we talked about
Counter-Strike,
him.
like tried to, or not
Valve.
Counter-Strike, but whoever makes that.
Um,
Didn't they try to
yes.
sue him or like fucking?
There was
Well,
a huge scandal. Yeah.
They somehow kind of like demonetized his ability of selling these skins. So he was already a millionaire. His parents were getting concerned because he had a fucking, not a Maserati, but what's the M? It's a super fancy car. It starts with an M.
McLaren.
Murcielago.
McLaren, yeah.
McLaren.
He had a black McLaren, and they were asking the cops, to basically take him in. And he fucking thought he could clip. If he drove fast enough, he could clip through things, and he drove the wrong way up
Wait, what?
on ramp. Yeah,
Yeah.
Like
started losing
video
his
game
shit.
clip through shit?
Video game clipping. Yep.
That's not how physics work, my boy. You can't
He first was chasing students in a soccer field outside of a school.
I
and
don't
then
know what clipping means. What does that mean?
So
It's like where you have a lag in your
have a lag, you go
character,
through-
and you
go-
kind of
yeah,
jump.
go through something.
yeah.
Sometimes you
Oh.
can go through something.
Gotcha.
And yeah, he was kind of going nuts and thought, yeah, I'm just going to drive my McLaren so fast in the wrong way on the interstate that I'll clip through this person. And he clipped all right. Clipped so hard that his seatbelt cut his torso into 3 pieces.
Damn. Holy
Jeez.
fuck.
Yeah, and he killed
Holy
some poor mother and her daughter who were going the other
fuck.
way. And there's no way he could react the speed he was coming at him. But anyways, back to lottery winners.
Yeah, please. Let's please go back to that.
This researcher here had ever since the 80s is kind of when the rollover lottos. So the myth has been around forever, but the rollover lotto games like Powerball and Mega Bucks, Mega Balls, whatever. They are the ones that, because they roll over, the jackpot gets bigger. And what they don't tell you, though, is that the states have learned that there's a thing called like lotto fatigue or jackpot fatigue. I believe it is where, it's a phenomenon in which jaded players expect bigger prizes in future drawings. And once a record is broken, players' definition of what a large prize is subtly increased each time. So, winning $5 million used to be like, holy fuck, that's a lot of money. Now it's like $5 million.
I could spend that on one yacht.
All right, I'll spend that in a weekend. I could go buy Russia for that.
Really good.
But so what the states though have done is they've also learned that the regulars who, the 1 in 8 Americans who play weekly, they're the ones who have to build that pool back up.
Right.
So what they've done with like Powerball, and some people, regulars know this, I'm sure, but a lot of people forget that, because I think the numbers go up to like 70 now, maybe 80. I want to say it used to be like 50 was the highest number. They've added numbers
So the odds
to the
are that much
Powerball.
Yeah, that much more.
exponentially more.
Yep. To exponentially dilute the odds of you winning the jackpot, and then thus by diluting the odds, the rollover happens more often. And it's like we were talking before the show, the Teddy, you spent more than us, but do you only play when it's big? I mean, you're not a weekly player, are you?
God, no, I only play when it's big.
Right? It's
Yeah,
like
the
I kinda feel
only
like
gambling I really do is
more entertainment out of
when I go there. I was thinking about getting into sports gambling a little bit because, but that's another show.
One of our sports guys does sports gambling like pretty regularly, and he's actually like he's so meticulous. He has like percentages. He's at like a 60-some% win rate.
Oh shit!
Oh, well.
So he's just a little ahead.
Yeah, which I mean, it might be a decent supplement to the income,
Well, and
if you're good at it.
agree with it or
50 bucks,
not,
what you can do with it. You know?
there are enough elements of sports gambling where you can feel like you could have skill based on your knowledge of the teams and the players at the time. Whereas fucking the lotto, it's just a bunch of
it's
fucking bucket of numbers flying up. So they understand that the bigger the prize would attract more players. So they've added numbers to dilute the odds, which creates more and more of a rollover. And then it's when people like us are like, oh shit, it's in the news again. It's like $500 million. Like,
right.
You know, fuck, I'll throw $10 towards it. Why not? And that's then when it becomes a, positive feedback loop of average motherfuckers who are just like, let me get that fucking Powerball. Or they pool in with their coworkers. That's the thing I wouldn't want to fucking deal with. Like trying to split your money with a group of coworkers. It sounds like a bad fucking idea. Some asshole would try to fuck you.
Yeah, I never do it because if I won the lottery, they would
know you die.
No, we didn't. We didn't. You cut out.
What you said?
What?
Your mic cut out.
Yeah.
You said, what would they do if you won the lottery? Fucking.
No, I said I would never do that. Like get like a coworkers, go in with them, because if I won the lottery, nobody would see me again. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna.
Larry had a heart attack.
Yeah, they just think I died. I'm not gonna fucking
diabetes in his big.
I heard a story back in the day about that. These people with a office went in. They always went on the lottery. I'm gonna see if I can find the story. They always went in on the lottery. And then one time this guy decided not to, and that's the time the office won.
Ooh.
And nobody gave him any money. So I think let me see if I can find the story.
That's when you're gonna have fucking bad blood.
Right.
The thing is with these bigger and bigger lottos, in the 80s, it's kind of when they started. Illinois and New York were both like swept up into lotto fever, and a lot of people they're traveling to go to.
I found like 12 of them.
New York or Illinois. So like Iowa was like, oh, these motherfuckers are driving across the state to get lottery tickets and we're not getting shit. And partly due to their smaller population per state. So eventually the Iowa, Kansas, Oregon, Rhode Island, Missouri, and West Virginia, they all 5 bordered larger lottery states, and they formed Lotto America, which was a multi-state lotto game, and that is what eventually turned into Powerball. It was, because now I think Powerball is in like every state, except
no, it's not every. It's like 20 some states.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
But the thing is that statistically, it shows a 2004 study here, just in the state of Ohio, found that actually 85.5% of winners kept working either in their current job or they just worked something part-time. So they just didn't become lazy fucks. And
are you fucking insane? Why would you go to work?
Well, like you could, a lot of these people, one of these things I watched where this guy worked, he was working overtime all the time at a mechanic shop. And once he won 300 some million. He built his own, garage on this big plot of land he bought, made himself a mansion, built his own garage. And now he just part-time works on restoring
that's not work. That's a hobby.
Cars. Well,
he doesn't need the money. You know what I'm saying?
He does it for other people.
Everybody has a hobby.
I'm sitting on my fat ass and playing video games.
Yeah, dude. My hobby is
bring me a
drink and playing video games.
I'll pay you $2 million to headbutt him. Go.
Yeah.
Right.
Basically, I'm rich as fuck now, so I'm going to pay you $100 million to fuck off.
Yeah.
Do you know if you win the lotto, Hey Rod's going to come a calling?
Yeah.
But
Hey,
yeah,
buddy.
it shows statistics show that the vast majority of people don't end up losing everything. So that whole myth that like, oh, you're just gonna be fucked is
Right.
Price will
usually
not even play.
overblown. But because that's no fun to hear about, we want to hear about the fucking losers. If you go to the outline there, I got some pictures of these losers.
All right, bring on the losers.
Yeah, we got Sharon Tirabassi. She was a Canadian. Look at that fucking. She totally got that from. God, what was the rapper who had Pimp My Ride? Was it Chamillionaire?
Exhibit.
Exhibit.
Oh, Exhibit. You're right. Yeah, it totally looks like a Pimp My Ride vehicle. She won $10 million and blew it all on expensive clothes, a pimped out car, vacations with friends. But she didn't quite lose everything because she did have a lawyer put some of her money into trust for her children. So she didn't quite go totally bust. Down below her, we got, look at this bimbo here, old Jane Park. She was only 17 from Edinburgh, Scotland. And she didn't even,
70.
yeah, she didn't even win that much. It was £1 million. But she claimed it ruined her life after spending $100,000 or £100,000 on a doctor that was who said he would help cure her manic jealousy and turn her into wife material.
Oh,
It's like
wow.
because this is why you have to be a certain age to play the lottery. Do you have to be 21 here in the States, or is it 18?
18.
Yeah, 18, probably 18 for lotto, 21 to gamble.
Fuck it. That just
Although
proves
certain
white people will pay for anything.
She also spent over 50,000 pounds on plastic surgery for a bum lift and a boob job, lip fillers, Botox. And she then eventually was caught drunk driving in a McDonald's drive-thru. How classy is that? You and your fucking rich, expensive car.
Oh, man.
Down below her, we've got a real winner here. This is Patty Bigby. She won $1 million and had it blown within 2 years. And she plotted to sell her daughter's child, her daughter's 10-week-old grandson. Like, that's how hard up she became for money.
After
she tried to sell it to another one of her own daughters who she had sold to an adopted couple years prior. And this, prior to winning the lottery, she had for years extorted this adopted family by basically threatening, like, oh, I'm going to ask the courts to get my kid back if you don't send me some money my way. And so Bigby and her boyfriend were arrested by authorities when they basically set up a sting for a transfer of the baby. Her older daughter she had given away had found her on Facebook, and then somehow got this plot of, well, yeah, why don't you buy your sister's kid? Sounds like something Teddy's sister-in-law would do. And she with the FBI, they set up a sting, and here it turns out she told her younger daughter, who had the 10-week-old grandson they were going to sell, she told her, well, we're selling it for $10,000 and I'm going to give you 9,000 of it. When really the deal was for 30,000. It's like, what a fucking shyster.
Wow.
Down below her, so yeah, she's rotting in prison. Down below her is old David Lee Edwards. This poor bastard. He was already a convicted felon for armed robbery when he was dirt poor and borrowed money from a friend so he could pay his water bill. And with what little change he had left, he bought himself some pizza and some lottery tickets. And he said he prayed to God. He just really needed help and fucking won the Powerball. Won $41 million. And then, of course, in the news interviews, he's all like, oh, I'm going to really make sure I deal with this well. I'm going to be humble and not going to change. Well, right away, the first year alone, he threw down $12 million, buying himself and his 27-year-old wife. He's 46. 27-year-old wife. A 6,000 square foot mansion in Palm Beach.
See, he's in front of a Rolls Royce there.
And he had 1.6 million in dozens of expensive cars. And he also bought himself a Lear jet with a personal pilot. It's like, a Lear jet? Where are you flying to, you fucking convict? You dumb shit.
Right.
His Palm Beach neighbors complained that there were so many cars in his driveway. It always looked like a dealership. He also then spent money on, he bought three different losing racehorses. There's something to get into when you're fucking dirt poor convict who has no experience. He also bought a failing limo business and a fiber optics installation company.
Yeah, this dude is Ricky.
Yeah, he is like Ricky. He also spent lavishly on medieval armor and swords to decorate his mansion.
Oh yeah,
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's right.
Turns out most of it were cheap knockoffs of originals. They weren't even real.
Yeah,
of course they were.
Of course. I mean, what'd you expect?
Edwards had a drug problem. He and his young wife, Shauna, contracted hepatitis from tainted needles they shared.
Damn.
And while she fell into OxyContin addiction,
wow.
With they both had multiple run-ins with authorities. And after 5 years, his young wife left him to remarry, and he ended up living in a storage unit where he died,
God. Jesus
surrounded by
Christ.
his own feces.
What?
Yep.
My God.
Dude, this is like a fucking.
I mean, yeah.
Like a horror movie.
Right?
Yeah,
Like
well,
a
and you see,
gypsy curse or some shit.
while these stories may not be the statistic, they do grab your attention.
Right.
Because we all like to see fucking losers. The next loser, Pete Kyle. So bad he had 2 first names. He was 56 years old and he won £5 million. He was a retired Royal Artillery gunner. And he went on a bunch of expensive vacations, bought multiple luxury cars, a boat, mansion, and gave a bunch of his cash to his kids. He bought his ex-wife, what is it, Renault Megane? You know what that kind of
what a Renault Megane is.
Renault Megane. Yeah, that's some fancy car.
It's not really that fancy of a car. Probably $50,000.
Oh, geez. It turned out within less than 3 years. So he had this mansion he bought, and then he spent all this money on expanding it. Well, the dumbass didn't bother to get any permits for this construction. So of course the fucking, city probably fined his ass. And he ended up having to sell his house. Less than 3 years later, he was living in a flop house called the Rooms Motel. You can see, like, this looks like something out of, like something you'd find in old downtown Detroit or something. He was living there he was like a caretaker there and a lapdog for the owner. So he got a room and board there. But the guy who ended up taking over his failed mansion, bought it for a steal, said that within 6 months' time, he had to write over 250 different bill collectors and personnel who were coming to the door looking for fucking Pete Kyle. Pete Kyle may still be alive. They never said. After him, we've got old fucking Jack Whitaker. Now, Jack Whitaker, this is a guy you'd think would have been able to keep his shit together, because it turns out he was a construction entrepreneur. He owned his own construction business and had, I think they said, somewhere around 100 employees.
Wow.
Under that business. So at the time, he was already worth.
Yeah, I mean, he's making quite a bit of money.
He was, his net worth through having that business was $17 million. But once he hit that Powerball, he got $315 million. Just fucking cursed him. He, see here, he had hundreds of dollars stolen from him. He had a horrific death of his granddaughter. People have tried to drug him. Let's see. Yeah, he had, so he started going to, he was one of those who couldn't shut up and stop bragging about his money. So he started going to the old Pink Pony strip club near his home, and he'd go in with $50,000 in cash plop it on the bar.
Wow.
And the manager is like, it's like, it was a nightmare. It's just knowing that like this dumbass is going to get fucking held up. And turns out, yeah, multiple visits. He bragged about having $545,000 stashed in his Lincoln outside. And of course, 2 employees went in there. They slipped him a Mickey and then broke into his vehicle and stole the cash. And then 5 months later, $200,000 was taken from the same car in the same parking lot. Fast forward to 2018, when $100,000 was heisted out of his car while he was parked in front of his house. And he then was giving his fucking granddaughter, his 17-year-old granddaughter, he gave her a stipend of $2,000 a week and 4 luxury cars. Well, turned out she all of a sudden was found wrapped up in a tarp.
Jesus.
Behind a derelict van from undisclosed causes. And yeah, he and then in 2016 his whole fucking house burned down.
Fucking A.
But luckily
Jesus.
he ended up dying of natural causes. So, those are some losers we could laugh at, just because the whole topic about how not everyone loses is not as entertaining. All right.
We want
moving
pain.
along.
We want misery. We want your tears.
That's right. We want to see these fuck assholes eat the dirt. Moving on to our What's Sexy section. Oracle Uncharted Legacy of Thieves collection.
So Sony has, for a few years now, they've been releasing kind of their...
How many Uncharted games are there now? Like 3?
Well, they had 4 main ones, and then they had a pretty good kind of standalone expansion for the 4th one as well. And this collection is Uncharted 4, and then the expansion Lost Legacy, or I think it's Lost Legacy. Playing it on PC, fantastic, great game. I mean, Uncharted, it's peerless. In terms of the storytelling, the cinematography, everything, for a third-person shooter,
similar to Tomb Raider type.
Very similar to Tomb Raider. I don't know. They have different flavors between Tomb Raider and this. This is more about kind of like the cinematic. It's kind of like a, I don't know, like a Michael Bay kind of a movie at some points, and it's a lot of fun to play through it. Yeah, fucking awesome. Great game. So if you have never been able to play Uncharted, and if you have a computer, go ahead and check it out.
Is it on the old sale right now, or?
I don't know. I picked mine up from CD Keys, and I think I got it for $40, I believe, which is not bad, because the 2 Uncharted 4 and that Lost Legacy, that's basically like a full game on its own. So
it's like 2 games.
Yeah, 2 games. Really good shit. Fantastic. Check it out.
Now, are you the same character like Lara Croft would be as far as the series goes, each game?
As far as the series 1 through 4, you are Nathan Drake. And then Lost Legacy, you are, I think her name's Chloe. I think you go between 2 different characters on that. I'm playing through 4 right now. Excellent game. Great game.
4 characters?
No, you have two characters
4,
on. Yeah, I'm playing through Uncharted 4. That's kind of the main tentpole one or whatever that was on PS4. Excellent. Very good. And also, I found out that Microsoft actually finally fixed HDR in Windows. They have a calibration tool for HDR, and it actually looks fucking great. For once, it only took, 10 years to figure it out, but here we are.
What was the problem? Like HDR,
HDR was terrible on PC for the longest time. You just couldn't get it right. Didn't look good. And I don't know what they did. They have this calibration tool and whatnot. Looks awesome. Honestly, it looks better than my Xbox on PC in terms of HDR. So good shit. Check it out.
Sorry, Xbox. All right, moving along to Mystic. Bill Burr's interview skills.
So I see this recommendation today. And it's Bill Burr, like, I forgot what it was called. Thursday fucking something Sunday morning podcast. Anyway, he's interviewing fucking Bill Maher, right?
Yeah, I saw that. Is that like he basically interviewed Bill Maher on Thursday, but he releases his podcast on Mondays?
Yeah, I think something like that. Yeah, something stupid. Thank you, babe. So he's yeah, I love you too. So he's interviewing it, and Bill Maher he's always like really aggressive. Like he's an asshole, and he's really aggressive, and like a lot of people shut down when he does that. And Bill Burr knows how to corral him perfectly, and it's funny as fuck, dude. Because Bill Maher is trying to like be a dickhead, and Bill Burr's like kind of being a dickhead back, and it's just like these two fucking like old assholes being assholes, but like in a funny way. I don't know. It was a good interview.
Yeah,
calling him out on things. There's like, wow,
yeah, kind of. Each one of them was, and that was the best part. Like they were like, you'd say something, you'd be like, I'm calling bullshit. I don't know. Like, fucking.
Yeah.
Like Bill Maher's the only person who can fucking like fact check a Norm Macdonald joke. You know what I'm saying? Like fucking Bill Burr told a Norm Macdonald joke about Germany being the size of Maine and how they almost conquered the whole world. And Bill Maher's like, first off, Germany is not the size of Maine. It's way bigger than Maine. And blah, blah. He's like, dude, just going off. And Bill Burr's like, what the fuck? Shut up. Anyway, it's a fun interview.
Yeah, his fucking on his podcast, just him fucking reading the ads. I mean, it's just such a manic fucking just shit show. It's so fucking funny. I'd be curious to see, because a lot of the comedians, they do that where they just do, cold reads on the ads.
They're just gonna riff it,
and they they inject just insane bullshit. And I wonder if that actually helps. I mean, it helps me remember
right,
the product.
Or it helps me for not fast forward.
I don't know. Right. Dax Shepard, when he does his, he always like gets super into it, and it's weird. Because like he'll do it, and he'll be like, "Oh yeah, I love the way those slippers feel." Like he's just fucking, it's like trying to. It's his humor, but like, it's like, dude, okay, I get. Just read it, man. Just read.
Tim Dillon was reading about some fucking underwear company that's created by some guy who was, former special forces or whatever. But he goes on about how with his special forces career, he's like, this is the guy who brought in Chelsea Manning, put Chelsea Manning in a box. But you know how Chelsea Manning breathed? It was because of this fabric. Shit like that,
Yeah.
So yeah, check it out. We'll have the link there to the YouTube video. Moving along to Teddy's What's Sexy Son's sleepover.
We had a sleepover this weekend. My son usually has them. I'm really lucky. I'm spoiled. My in-laws live with the subdivision right next to mine. They're pretty much around the corner, so I can pretty much get free weekends when I want. But so he usually had them at grandma's. But he wanted to start having it at home stuff. So we had this is the first one I've hosted, and it was actually pretty cool. The sound of these young boys tramping down my stairs like the fucking elephants was not fun. I put some pictures in the chat there. They were excited to play the video games and all the good stuff.
Yeah, were they having Earth Wars and shit?
They weren't having Earth Wars. They played a lot of video games. They did I took them to Defy, which is a trampoline park. Then we went to dinner. They went to dinner at Chili's. Immediately after we get back from Chili's, these fuckers raid my fridge. Like it's like you get back to Chili's, like they eat a lot of food and stuff, and then some of them take home leftovers. They put them in the refrigerator. And they're like, "Hey, what do you got here to eat?" I'm like, you just put your food in there from Chili's, bro."
Yeah, eat up your leftovers. Shit.
But yeah, they play video games and thing. I'm extremely excited. My son has friends. they are the nerdy kids. So it's but yeah.
Nice.
It was fun being the cool dad.
Well, and it's gotta be nice to see. Yeah, even if they are the nerdy gang of kids, it's still a group of friends compared to like.
Right. I mean,
imagine being a parent when you only have one kid, and then that kid doesn't bring any friends over, doesn't talk about any friends. It's like, what am I raising Jeffrey Dahmer here?
Okay, it wasn't quite that. I wasn't quite that.
Well, I know you weren't worried. Your son has friends.
He is really shy. He doesn't. It was funny on the cruise. When he was watching the movie in the hot tub and stuff, he was running around the hot tubs. I was sitting over there just playing my Switch and just watching him a little bit. And I'm like, all these kids, I'm like, just make some friends. He's like, I don't know. He's really shy. I don't want to make friends. So he decided to sit in the hot tub. I was going to get a drink. And I walked by. He's like, "Hey, Dad," and I'm like, "Oh, you're in a hot tub full of kids." I'm like, "Who? You know anybody?" He's like, "No." And I was pretty drunk right now. And I'm like, "Hey, this is my son Brady from Tennessee. Yeah, he's shy. Has a hard time. Be friends with him. He has a hard time making friends." He's like, "Dad," and I just went off to get my drink. And then like 5 minutes later,
friends, you said that shit.
Oh man, embarrassing.
And then like 5 minutes later, he comes running over here. "We're gonna go to the slides." I'm like, "Awesome, cool, go to the slides."
Nice.
And he ended up making friends. I'm like, "Buddy, don't." I'm like, for every kid that says no, I don't want to play with you, there's gonna be 10 more kids that say yes, we will play with you. Don't take no for an answer like that. Just go ahead, move on.
Yeah, gotta push them out of their comfort zone. All right, moving along to ashtrays. What's sexy? The red wave that was more of a piss trickle. I know that all of the results are in, and we still have fucking old Ron John here in Wisconsin.
Thank God.
I was listening. Yeah, we don't have to get. We don't have to deal with cashless bails from Mandela Barnes, right? Or I mean, I was looking forward to not having to pay my taxes.
Raped.
What?
Right? Oh yeah, they were.
He was gonna send out rape squads, dude.
They were hammering him hard on all this crime stuff.
What are the politics like in Wisconsin?
Well, I heard
be crazy.
NPR. They had some of these people calling in from the up north, and there are people saying that they really believe that, because the paradox is that Evers held on to the governorship. You'd think everyone who voted for Evers would have voted for Mandela Barnes, but this old man was like, "I think some of the old boys up here they just don't think he has the mettle for the Senate." It's like, really? After 12 years of Rojo not getting shit done and, pushing conspiracy theories and shit, and he has, the medal for the Senate, he hasn't done shit.
Right.
He talks on his phone backwards to try to pretend that reporters can't talk to him. Did you see that clip?
I don't want to listen to Democratic Republican shit or Democratic Liberal shit.
Anyway, so the Republicans or the Democrats didn't quite have as bad a bloodbath as they were expecting, but nonetheless, it really all boils down to is that neither side has any sort of overarching national message to get like a real.
No, they're just trying to stay in power, man.
Well, yeah, and they don't have any idea what they're doing. Everybody's run out of ideas. That's the problem. So, I mean, another problem too is the progressives have never been able to get a majority that's like where they can just push their shit through to see. Because yeah, they might have some stupid ideas that might blow up in their face, but a lot of times they can barely get anything through anyways. When you got to bring old fucking what's her face down, the VP of vote for tiebreaker, it's damn near impossible. You got to suck off Joe Manchin and finger bang Kristen Sinema to get them on board.
Now you just think gross.
Yeah, the Senate is pretty nasty. So we'll end that there. Moving along. What you think? Oracle farting in his sleep.
Yep. Woke myself up by farting.
Really?
Yep.
How do you know? Or was Carolyn like?
She was there. She's like, "You just woke yourself up when you farted." And I felt so betrayed. I was just like, "God damn it! What the fuck?"
Wow.
I would too. I'd be like, God, I was having a good fucking sleep.
I mean,
I've done that before, but I was in class in high school when I did it.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's a big fear. I've only had it one time where I got food poisoning in China, where I woke up to just shit streaming out of my asshole.
What?
Oh,
Yeah.
like you sharted in your sleep?
But bad.
It's
Fucking bad.
Terrible.
Yeah, I was
I've been
really, really fucking sick. Like, I went to this, like, soup line in China that I probably wasn't, you know, it was like a communist fucking soup line. And they're just like looking at me. They're like, what the fuck are you doing
Water
here?
and dirt.
Right?
There you go.
I was like, whatever, cultural experience. And then here I am, fucking shit streaming out of my asshole that night. Yeah. So just I don't know. I get freaked out by shit happening to me in my sleep, you know, just don't have a lot of control over it.
It's your mind, man. Don't let the dreams win.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sucks.
That's what I tell myself every day. I learned this shit from It's just my mind. All right. Well, going from sharding in your sleep to Mystic election nights in the newsroom are pure sharding situational hell.
Dude, so it's like in every one that I've been in during an election.
So this would be your first time at this new one, right?
Yeah. But it's the same exact shit, dude. It is quite literally the same exact shit. It's like watching a sitcom unfold.
Mm.
And I don't have shit to do during election night. So it's pure hell. I sit there for fucking 10 hours and do pretty much nothing.
Waiting
because it's all live. You know what I mean? The polls close at 8 o'clock. We're on the air at 9 o'clock. Nobody fucking knows who won by 10. And I'm out. Fucking, I'm done at 10, you know? So, like, I didn't do shit.
Sit and watch them running around.
And just
like
pan around to the cameraman the fucking reporter goes, well, yeah, they're just hanging out down here in downtown Milwaukee, and they're fucking jerking each other off. And,
but then watching parties or whatever.
Something will inevitably go wrong. You know what I'm saying? And it's like you see like 4 people go running, like around this fucking place, like I could see like a guerrilla style, like fucking like office type of camera work. You know what I mean? Following someone around. Oh my God, what happened to the graphics? You know what I mean? Like, it's just ridiculous, stupid shit that doesn't matter.
So
you're fucking live.
That's funny.
It's live television, dude. Who
Yeah,
gives a fuck at all?
I feel like they're really reaching for some drama. I know when I went to vote yesterday, Carolyn's like, was there anything crazy going on, you know, at the polling thing? It's like a bunch of fucking 70-year-olds filling out forms and people, you know, quietly sitting in or standing in
doing
lines.
Their democratic
right? It's like
there was
isn't
one dude
fucking
that caused a
Afghanistan.
ruckus in West Bend, I think it was, and he got arrested. But he never like screamed out any affiliation or anything. He was just like causing a scene,
making a scene.
I think you'd have to be a pretty big asshole if you were actually doing that. Like, I don't know.
But anyway, they're funny. Yeah. They're just it's
a lot of
funny.
assholes around Oracle.
Well, and because it's all live,
I get to like people watch it, and like it's. I hate the night. I hate being there. I'd rather just fucking forget about the whole thing because, like, elections stress me the fuck out. I don't want to see Republicans ever win. You know what I mean? And when they do, it just bothers the shit out of me.
Oh, I know. When it's time for the pendulum to go their way, it's like, I know this happens every, 4 or 8 years. Things kind of switch back. It just always is that way when you've been through enough elections. Still sucks. Just like,
I'm glad, though, that we didn't get that they don't have a super majority and that Evers got elected, because that was the more important one for us than the Senate, in my opinion. Senate being deadlocked sucks, but if fucking Michaels had been elected in this state, it would be like Trump leading this state with a fucking super majority in the fucking House.
There's
we'd be fucking in 18. We would be The Handmaid's Tale in about 6 months, and I'm not. It's probably not. Maybe soon.
There was Brad Paff who Ron Kine, who retired from his seat, that seat did go to the Republican, But yeah, I can't remember the guy's name, but I guess he's one of those Republicans. It's like, oh, he's lived on the East Coast for a while, and just like moved back here with enough time to be a resident. And he also refused to have any debates with Brad Paff. And actually, my boss got on a couple of occasions hired a guy to wear a full chicken costume and follow this guy around because my boss was on Twitter calling him chicken shit, and I guess it was kind of he's like a former he's a former special forces or Navy SEAL type, and he's super like that's all he talks about is his military past and whatnot. He's got no Wisconsin experience, but my boss learned that was one thing that really got under his skin was when he'd be called chicken shit.
Is this for the state Senate?
This is for state Wisconsin, yeah.
Oh.
It might have been the legislature, not the state Senate, but it was whatever seat that Ron Kind retired from. So the thing is, though, this fucking Republican guy, who's not even a real Wisconsinite, had got 4 times the amount of money to spend.
Yeah, of course he did. Of course he did, because that's, the Kochs are spending money and the fucking whoever's are spending, the Murdochs are spending money.
Something with the numbers showed from the strategy point, it's like, if we dump enough money in here, we can flip this for a Republican.
Yeah.
It wasn't secure.
Right. And that guy in his commercials and stuff, he's like, we're going to do things differently.
Yeah.
We're gonna.
I don't know how.
You see his commercials up there?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, that's not me. I'm not a politician guy. Let's do things differently. And he's getting his fucking
I'm gonna walk around with a shotgun.
That whole Ross Perot fucking syndrome shit.
Yeah.
I'll sweep the barn.
It'd be a perpetual sucking song.
All right. Sorry.
All right. Moving along to myself. Not being an asymptomatic superhuman. As we noted before, I'm in the full sad, emaciated pansy state of COVID-19. It's been over a week now. My positive test still just bam, light up like a motherfucker. It's like but yeah, with all the weddings I've done since the vaccines came out, I kind of thought, these people who they kept talking about who are asymptomatic carriers being a part of the population. If you're truly asymptomatic carrier, why would you ever test yourself if you never had any symptoms? Right?
Yeah.
So I kind of figured with all these weddings and, different jerk offs that I've had to deal with, or even yahoos at the meat raffle, like how could I not have been exposed prior?
Right.
I mean, or maybe I was exposed and I was able to kick it every time without noticing, but it was right after that 2 hours of sleep after that fucking Halloween dance party where I was running on fucking fumes. That's probably what happened. It's all the COVID needed to get its little way in there and start fucking filling my sinuses up and my lungs up.
Are you vaccinated with your boosters there, buddy?
I'm double vaxxed. I never got the triple vax because it ended up, it's like, is it even fucking doing anything?
I'm fucking quadruple. I just got my
well, yeah, so was my boss, and he got
last week with the flu shot.
I got my.
I'm not saying I won't get it.
Go to Jamaica.
My daughter has it right now.
Have you had it once already?
I don't think so.
Oh, sure. For some reason, I thought the rest of you had caught it at least once.
Might have.
Teddy?
Well, me and my restaurant staff, we think we had it. We think we had it when it first came out because a real bad cold came through the restaurant. And
yeah,
I haven't
been sick since then.
Yeah,
so
I'm assuming I haven't had it. That I know of. But at the same time, to me, it was always just a flu anyway. The only reason I got my fucking vaccine was to fucking go to Jamaica. So
supposed to, it's supposed to be a lot milder now than it used to be. It's like, man, I'm going on a week plus now, feeling like fucking ass dogs. What really gets me? Well, I'm going into work after hours, kind of keep things moving. But yeah, me and my boss are both fucking positive.
Does he come in too?
Yeah, we've been coming in at 5 o'clock.
COVID party.
Yep, exactly. And once our screen printer leaves, we can take our mask off and cough around the place. The thing is,
y'all are pretty much
he got COVID 3 weeks ago. What's that?
Y'all are just infecting the whole store. I come in to get some posters. I leave a posters and COVID.
Yeah,
Thank you, buddy.
right.
That's a great fucking.
Man.
Well, I can't take the printer home. So, moving along to Teddy's. Fuck what you think, which is blank.
Yeah, it's blank. I've had a good couple of weeks. I have nothing to bitch about actually. I mean,
lucky son.
I'm having fun at work.
Good couple weeks.
I'm making money.
He's like on death's door. You're like, man, these past couple of weeks have been fantastic.
All right.
I'm enjoying life. Marriage, but
good for you.
I have nothing to fuck what you think about. You know, I can say fuck COVID for getting my boy Ashtray down.
There you go.
Fuck you, COVID.
Fuck COVID.
Go back to China, goddamn it.
Horseshit.
This is America.
All right.
This is America.
In all seriousness, go fuck yourself, Dr. Oz. You were beaten by a fucking stroke victim.
Dude, how is that dude's name Mehmet? Like, what a fucking weird name for.
Who was Mehmet? The one who won?
No, Dr. Oz.
No, Mehmet Oz.
Mehmet, yeah.
Dr. Oz, Mehmet.
I will say I didn't think the Herschel Walker race would be that close.
Yeah, well, especially going up against a pastor or a preacher or whatever.
Yeah,
it's like compared to a guy who's been getting all his ladies to fucking get abortions done. It's like pretty easy on the old moral scale.
No, just listening to Herschel Walker talk. He's like one headshot away from being Muhammad Ali.
Oh, absolutely. And just think he's probably going to be in fucking Congress.
It's going to be a runoff, isn't there?
No, what?
Yeah, there's going to be a runoff. But just think that dude. Dr. Oz lost to a a recent stroke victim.
Yeah. Well, you know,
they would rather pick a stroke victim over that dude.
Well, you know, and Dr. Oz, as a fucking doctor, he shouldn't have been ripping on him for having a stroke. Like,
did he rip on about a stroke? Wait,
like,
did
you
he
should be like, you know, I really feel for him and his family. You know, I wish him the best. You know, but yeah, he was
ripping on him.
Yeah, he was basically saying like, yeah, he's not going to be up to snuff to you know, be your, was it was it for Senate or was that for
Senate?
Yeah, like he's not going to be able to be a senator because he had a stroke.
I don't know. Let me look, man.
Either way, it was like, oh, that's kind of in low taste. Like that's something Trump would do, but Trump's not a doctor. You know, Trump's Trump. You expect that out of him. Like Dr. Oz, as a doctor.
Yeah, it was for fucking Senate, dude. John Fetterman is the guy who beat him.
Well, that's our show, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to be here every Wednesday or Thursday night, 10 p.m. Central. Make sure you join the conversation at theredeyereport.com or facebook.com/redeye report. Don't even look for us on Twitter because Elon fucking banned us.
Yeah, and then we'd have to pay money to be
verified. We'd have to pay, to be back on. Yeah, the real Red Eye Report. So, like us, share us, fuck us. We're down for whatever. I'm the Ashtray.
It's a standoff.
I'm Mortal. Oh, shit.
And I'm Teddy.
And this is the Red Eye Report.
Hey, I didn't think you could pull it off. It's